One thing that people don't talk about is that Assad not only enjoying so much recent success, but the fact that his stock market was up about 200% since Trump came into office. That's the best performing stock market in the world. His currency was up 30%. He had everything in his hand. And then Trump says, we're leaving. And all of a sudden, you get another attack. So there are people, obviously, there that want us back and they want us to hit him hard.
We're now into hour number 3. That means we are 5 hours of the global transmission have elapsed. David Knight kicked it off at 8 a.m. this morning. Owen Schroyer's coming up, and we've got a huge list. In fact, you guys print me a list of the folks that are coming up during the 34-hour historic Stop World War III with Russia broadcast. Was going to be Stop the Collapse of America, Stop the Removal of Trump. But that just kicked into this whole other gear. And there's so much I'm going to be covering. I'll continue with your calls. Mark Faber is just joining us for, I think, 1 or 2 segments on the economy and his take on war and all the rest of it. But right now, let's go back to your phone calls right now. Let's talk to John in New York. Thanks for holding, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
I'm all right, my friend.
Real quick, one thing that people don't talk about is that Assad not only enjoying so much recent success, but the fact that his stock market was up about 200% since Trump came into office. That's the best performing stock market in the world. His currency was up 30%. He had everything in his hand. And then Trump says, we're leaving. And all of a sudden, you get another attack. So there are people, obviously, there that want us back and they want us to hit him hard. But it's about pipeline. It's not about anything else. You take a look at the map right now of Eurasia, and you take a look at Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states and Qatar, they have an enormous amount of natural gas. Now, it costs twice as much to deliver natural gas by tankers, liquefied natural gas, about $6.50 million cubic feet. All right, you listening? The other thing is, most important, is Russia, their main export is natural gas going into Europe. It's about $2.90 a million cubic feet. What we're trying to do, if I'm correct, is we're trying to kill Russia economically, just like what happened with them in the 80s with the Afghan war, while they're trying to build a pipeline there. Now, what happened with Bill Casey and Ronald Reagan in the 80s is they developed the futures exchange for oil contracts. In 1983, you can look it up. There's a book called The Oil Card, which is very important. Everybody should read it. This is the economic warfare that nobody talks about. And Bill Casey from the CIA, they worked on developing Chicago Mercantile Exchange oil futures for oil. And at that point, there was a 17-year bear market in oil. It destroyed Russia. This is the same backstory nobody's talking about. Iran, Russia, their energy, or Saudi Arabia, Qatar, their energy going into Europe. But we're just trying to block them. We also have an enormous amount of liquefied natural gas we're developing. Russia's in a lot of trouble. And
that's right. Russia's stock market, we can pull that up. Russia's stock market has crashed this week. Just type in Russia's stock market crash and click news. You can see their stuff straight down. And that's economic warfare. We've got troops on their border. They're trying to fight radical Islam. I'm a free market guy. I don't think you should stop those pipelines going through. Just like I don't think China should be able to go take over the South China Sea and declare they own and run everything as well. That is wrong. I am a free market guy, and this is globalism. And when the Chinese do it, it's wrong. And when America does it, it's wrong. And Trump claims, you know, he's this free market guy that wants competition that'll lower prices for everybody. Let's do it. Let's let you know, those pipelines bring Syrian gas into Europe. That's how you're going to build up their profit and make them a first world nation. Instead, no, I understand the little piggies in Saudi Arabia and the globalists, they've got to be the only ones that can ship it in. And they don't want to have to ship it by the super tanker into there.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is this is basically the story and the theme that nobody wants to talk about or wants to be on TV talking about, because that, I think, is what really is going on. You know, the fact is, just look up that book, The Oil Card. It's an unbelievable book by a guy, I forgot his name, James Norman.
Well, sir, what you're saying is I've read the books. We've been covering this for 7 years. You are 1,000% correct. Afghanistan is about that as well, and rare earth minerals. We'll be back with more calls. Thank you, John.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
InfoWars comes to mind.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website InfoWars.
It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons.
Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
JFK was shot from the back and the front.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
They took the babies out of incubators and left the children to die on the front lawn.
I think this is a national security imperative. We have clear things that we do not understand how they work, operating in areas that we can't control.
UFOs.
Is this global governance at last? Is it one world, the central bankers in charge?
Israel claims the attack was accidental, but some former U.S. naval officers say it was on purpose. They describe the day's action as part of a continuing cover-up.
Russian intelligence compiled a dossier on Mr. Trump during visits to Moscow.
Russian scum!
Denied everything. He called it all fake news.
And he accused CNN of being fake news.
This is a national emergency.
If they kill Trump or remove Trump, it will cause a massive civil war in this country.
This is a FEMA high-level alert.
We are at war with Russia.
Are you aware that Mr. Stone also stated publicly that he was in direct communication with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks?
The White House and the President are citing InfoWars.
They could shut us down. You're next.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
You know, I've got some talking points here about Caveman from InfoWarsLife.com. But instead of going with those talking points, let me just give you what I've experienced personally. From all the wives' tales in every culture, we know that the bones have the essence. We know chicken noodle soup is great for people that are sick. Again, in every culture, this has been reported because it works. And there's no way to quantify how strong this is, but the amount of bone protein and the amount of marrow and the amount of concentrated life force that is in this is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it's for your joints, whether it's for your arteries and your veins, whether it's for your brain, whether it's for energy, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the strongest, most concentrated bone broth formula out there, and it's amazing. Find out for yourself today at InfoWarsStore.com what it can do for you and your family. And again, I want to thank you all for your support. You are funding the information war in 2018.